Have you ever faced a choice so monumental it could change the course of your entire life? A moment where every fiber of your being is tested, where the path of least resistance glitters with promise, but your heart knows the true cost. This is a story about a battle fought, not with swords and shields, but in the silence of the soul, a conflict that would ripple through eternity. Imagine a man, not of royalty or riches, but with a spirit that held the weight of the world. After a moment of profound affirmation, where the heavens themselves seemed to open, Jesus was led into the vast, unforgiving wilderness. Not for a quiet retreat, but for a showdown. For 40 days and 40 nights, he fasted. The sun beat down, the nights grew cold, and hunger gnawed at him, a constant, sharp reminder of his humanity. His body was weak, his senses heightened. It was in this state of extreme vulnerability that the tempter arrived. He wasn't a monster with horns and a pitchfork. No, evil is rarely so obvious. He appeared as a voice of reason, a whisper of logic in the desolate quiet. He saw Jesus, weakened by hunger, and saw his opening. "If you are the Son of God," the voice began, smooth as silk, "tell these stones to become bread." It seemed so simple, so logical. Use your power for yourself. You're starving. You deserve it. It's a small thing, really. No one will even know. But Jesus' gaze didn't waver. He looked past the stones, past the gnawing emptiness in his stomach. His voice, though quiet, resonated with unshakable strength. "It is written," he replied, "men shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." In that moment, he declared that physical hunger was nothing compared to the hunger of the soul. True sustenance, true life, comes not from what we can make for ourselves, but from our connection to the divine. The first test was over. Jesus chose trust over self-reliance. The scene then shifted dramatically. In an instant, they were no longer in the dusty wilderness. They stood at the highest point of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. The city sprawled below, a breathtaking panorama of life and activity. The wind whipped around them, a dizzying height that would make anyone's head spin. The tempter's voice was in his ear again, this time laced with a challenge, a dare. "If you are the Son of God," he goaded, "throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." This was a different kind of temptation. It wasn't about need, it was about pride. It was a temptation to create a spectacle, to force God's hand, to prove his identity through a dramatic, public display. Imagine the awe, the shock, the instant fame. Everyone would believe it was the ultimate shortcut to acceptance. But Jesus saw the trap. He saw the arrogance in demanding a sign, in putting God to the test. He refused to perform for the crowd, to turn his sacred trust into a theatrical stunt. "It is also written," he stated firmly, "do not put the Lord your God to the test." He chose humility over spectacle, faith over forced proof. The final test was the grandest of all. The landscape shifted again, this time to the peak of a colossal mountain. From this vantage point, the entire world seemed to lay at their feet. Kingdoms rose and fell in a dazzling, dizzying display. The glory of Rome, the wisdom of Greece, the riches of the East, all of it, a shimmering, irresistible prize. The tempter dropped all pretense. His voice was filled with the promise of ultimate power. "All this I will give you," he whispered, the offer hanging in the air, thick with ambition, "if you will bow down and worship me." This was the ultimate temptation. Not just bread, not just a spectacle, but everything. All the power, all the glory, all the influence to change the world in an instant. No more struggle, no more suffering, no more slow, patient work. Just one small act of compromise, one bow. It was the offer to achieve a good end through a corrupt means. But Jesus' response was not one of negotiation. It was a command, thundering with divine authority. "Away from me, Satan," he declared. "For it is written, worship the Lord your God, and serve him only." He chose worship over power. He chose allegiance to God over control of the world. He understood that true authority doesn't come from grasping for power, but from surrendering to a higher purpose. And with that final, definitive refusal, the darkness receded. The tempter vanished, defeated. The battle was won. In the quiet that followed, angels came and attended to him, the silence of the wilderness now filled with peace, not peril. This story, this epic confrontation in the wilderness, is more than just an ancient tale. It's a mirror to our own lives. We all face our own wilderness. We all hear those whispers. The temptation to satisfy our immediate desires, to cut corners and take the easy way out. The temptation to prove ourselves, to seek validation and applause through grand gestures. And the ultimate temptation to compromise our deepest values for what the world calls success, power, and glory. Jesus' victory wasn't just for himself, it was a demonstration for all of us. He showed that it is possible to face our deepest vulnerabilities and our greatest temptations and emerge stronger. He showed us that our true strength isn't in our own power, but in our connection to something greater. His weapon wasn't magic or divine intervention. It was his unwavering commitment to truth, his deep-seated knowledge of who he was and whose he was. Each time he said it is written, he wasn't just quoting scripture. He was grounding himself in an eternal truth that was more real and more powerful than the illusion being offered to him. He fought lies with truth. He fought pride with humility. He fought the lure of worldly power with the quiet strength of divine worship. This is the path to our own victory. It's about knowing what truly sustains us beyond the bread of this world. It's about having a faith that doesn't need to be proven with flashy signs. And it's about knowing who deserves our ultimate allegiance, our worship. The battle for your soul is fought in these small choices every single day. And like Jesus, you have the strength to choose life, to choose truth, to choose victory. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the depths of faith and the human spirit. See you in the next video.